Uh, yeah, come. Okay, so that is a quick introduction to the association. Now, what is that the association focuses on is something which I would like to quickly cover, and then, of course, get into the main subject of waste segregation. So, before the members leave, I would request you all to take a newsletter, which gives you all the information. Uh, we have got Nirmal KPC and Anant. Nirmal KPC, the job of Nirmal KPC is to make sure that this entire area is cleaned up, well kept. Then for road drainage and water, we have got Mr. Shivamurthy who is in charge. Road safety and security, street lighting, etc. are being taken care by Mr. Shantraja. Environment and Park, which will be the responsibility of Mr. Manjunath and Mr. Tyagaraj. Internal communication, we have Mr. Mokashi. Actually, he's the one who has designed this as well, or he has been the oversight for designing this. And welfare of women, children, and senior citizens will be the responsibility of Mr. Abdul Rahman. Now, all these people have got a team under them. So when you're leaving from this place, you can carry a leaflet, the newsletter, which will give you all this information. Then we have got individual lane representative. For every lane, we have got a lane representative. For example, for this 11th cross, I am the representative. And similarly, for every single lane, we have got lane representatives whose role is to ensure that the membership drive is taken care of, plus whatever information communication that happens from the society is being shared and implemented on the streets. Now, that is the purpose of the lane representatives. So that is quickly the association for you. Now, let me go to the main agenda. Okay, what is the biggest problem that we face today in the society? Day in, day out, you see it in the paper. If you all have seen yesterday's paper, I think the timing of this session, what we are having is pretty apt, because if you have seen the paper yesterday, it says segregate or we won't lift the garbage, says BBMP. Now, this was something which they announced earlier, but I think now onwards they're going to implement it very strictly. So, who are the losers? We are the losers, because now, what else can we do? We can actually go around and say that, okay, let BBMP guy come, let him not take the garbage, but I will not go it and dump it on the road. So for that also BBMP has got a list of penalties. Anyone who spotted littering, the first penalty will be 100 rupees. Second will be 200 rupees. Now this is as of last year, which is going to get revised now. And over a period of time, they are even considering imprisonment. So to that extent, because I'm just asking a simple question. If we throw so much of garbage around here, but when we go to Singapore, why do we behave so very well? Yes, sir. Because you know the danda is there behind us, so we behave ourselves. So why even wait for that? Instead of that, let us together form an association of making sure that this is a heaven to live. So the first problem which hits us is on the wastage, which is what are the typical types of waste that we have. Wet waste. Wet waste is your kitchen waste, basically the wasted food. Anything which is perishable is a wet waste, okay, and which is wet, of course. It's a wet waste, because paper can be considered, paper is perishable, but it is not a wet waste. So just to give an example, anything which is wet and perishable is a wet waste. No, your kitchen waste. So how do we manage this? Now, we also have records that this forms close to 78 to 80% of the waste is wet waste. Okay. Now, therefore, what is the biggest problem that anybody, even if this guy Prasad comes, he will be able to tell you that the maximum load of his vehicle is of the wet waste. Now, why are we dumping this when we have got a fantastic solution to make sure that this is taken care of? The second one is a dry waste, which is your paper, plastic, all these things. As you see, this is something. Now, what we do at home is the milk sachet, the milk packets. If you're going to just dump the milk packet with the leftover milk, it's going to stink. So we generally wash it, rinse it, and then dry it, and then put it. That's what we do. Because just to make sure that extra milk, because in many houses what they do is they take the water, rinse it, and put it in the milk itself. But in my house I don't do it, but I wash it and put it back. And what we also do is we just take that extra step of cutting it open on top. Plus we also cut it open here for an aeration, and we just hang it like this so that it becomes completely dry. And there is no smell, no stink. There'll be no resistance from the guy who picks up this garbage. So that is your dry waste, and that forms close to about 15%. The third waste is that,
just to add, actually, see, if it is wet, no, and we can't call it as dry.
Yeah.
For recycling, it has to be completely dry. That's the only reason we are helping it, so it's eligible for recycling. That's the only need of the for the dry waste.
It can be inside out also. Like inside thing, you just put
Yeah,
it
yeah.
out.
Yeah, in
Like
fact,
that.
what my wife does is she,
Right.
yeah,
Inside out, yeah.
yeah, she does it inside out,
Then it
and the
becomes-
cream is applied so that you don't have to spend for the moisturizer.
Yeah, yeah.
You save money. It's a natural moisturizer, plus it also helps you to clean it. So that's how it happens. The third one is a reject, which is the sanitary napkin, all those baby diapers, all those things. Anything which is a waste from the human body, medical waste, anything that goes out of the human body and whatever that carries. Like I said, there's napkins or medical waste and all that are rejects, which cannot be recycled, which cannot be reused. That's a reject. So that's the third type of waste, which is about 5%. Which is hardly about 5%, very less of that. Fourth waste is the electronic and the hazardous waste. So that is rare. That doesn't happen on a day in, day out basis. So that is a rare stuff. So the first step towards making sure that we manage this waste very well is to segregate at source. Segregate at source. For example, I tell my maid very clearly that all the dust, hair and all that are rejects. So she will put everything inside this. So red is the basket for the reject waste you see here. So that will go as a reject. And then the green box, the green bucket is being used for the wet waste. You'll find that this is empty because I've got a pit behind my house which I use. So this is completely empty. That's what it is. And of course the dry waste, I set this back. Now the reason why we have got this back, okay, is because we have seen that people, they add one more plastic cover. They put all this plastic into another plastic cover. So likewise, there are so many plastic covers. There is no need for that. When Prasad comes, he just takes this bag, empties it in the dry bin and puts this bag back. So thereby, every day or once in 2 days when he picks up, in a month, I save 15 plastic covers. I save as in I don't use. So if each one of us do it, see the amount of plastic that will not be there as a garbage. How much it helps. Now, okay, so please segregate the waste at the source itself, which like I said is your dry waste, wet waste, rejects and electronic. Now, there is no mechanism for us to dispose of the electronic waste. So what we do is we have offices where they have got a vendor who takes care of all this disposal of electronic waste. So we carry all these rejected floppies, CDs, whatever that we don't want. We take it to office and we give it to them. That we can carry. Obviously, you cannot carry like a used sanitary napkin or diaper to the office. You cannot dispose. So these things, the floppies and all that you can carry, which you carry, which you carry, and it knows the dog man, so it's around you now. So that is how we dispose of the electronic waste. So as I said, I'll just repeat myself. When we have these 4 types of waste, we have also got different types of containers. The red one gets used for rejects. Now, what are the typical types of rejects that we have? Okay, this is a guideline that we have. I'll just read it out for you quickly. The wet waste can be your vegetable, fruit peels, cooked food, leftover, eggshells, chicken or fish bones, rotten fruits, vegetables, tissue paper, soiled with food that we use for wiping our hands and all that, tea bags, coffee grinds, leaf plates, all that, and the garden waste. Now, these are considered as a wet waste. Then you have got the dry waste, which is like plastic covers, bottles, boxes, items, chips, coffee, wrappers, plastic cups, milk and curd packets. Yeah. Yeah. So milk and curd packets, I've already said how to do it. You need to rinse it and put it so that you have got no issues. Now, in the rejects, the reason why I'm reading this out is in the rejects, though I've said anything out of the body, there are also other things like sharp objects, like blades, syringes. You know, they are dry waste, but you cannot put them as a dry waste. You should just put it as a reject so that it does not get reused anywhere. Or broken bottles. Bottle can be a dry waste. Broken bottle will become a reject. So it is a typical classification. Anything which goes out of the body and anything harmful need to be treated as a reject. So that is how that's a guideline that you have on the waste segregations. So we in the association have bought a lot of these sets, which includes this bag, green and red buckets. Anybody who wants can buy it from the association for the cost price of 100 rupees. It is up to you. It's voluntary. We already have 50 plus houses in this colony, in this area, KPC layout, already using it. So I've first spoken to you about the types of waste and segregate at source. Now, what do you do with the wet waste? Now, that is the purpose and objective of this meeting. Wet waste, what do we do with them? Many of you know, many of you have an answer, or many of you know what needs to be done. Basically, I have dug a pit behind my house, which is 2 feet deep, and we keep dumping all the wet waste into that. Okay. Now, we take it out once in 15 days. So what happens is in about a month's time, the wet waste we have put becomes a manure like this. Okay. They sell in total about half a kg or something is 100 rupees, 150 rupees. That's what. This is close to about 5 kgs of wet waste you have. So this is how it converts, and this is nothing but a complan for your plants. Now, when I go, you want to say something?
No.
Yeah.
But
So
this doesn't smell when you put it.
not at all. It smells just like earth. Just did that. I don't want to tell you to do it. So I did that. Okay. But what you could not have smelled.
Yeah, it becomes humus.
Yeah.
Humus.
2 months, 3 months. It's
1 month.
Very
1 month.
fertile
1 month. So I will tell you how to do it also. So it just smells like
But
Mother
when you
Earth.
put it there for like, because you're putting it every day.
Yeah.
So that time also it doesn't.
Oh, it stinks. When I put it at that time, you can't even stand next to it. It smells very hard. After about a month, it has now become a compost. Now, what is required to make a compost? Now, this is what I wanted to inform you all. Like I said, many of you may be knowing it. For those of you who do not know, this is applicable. This works. Also, there is a problem of houses where there is no space at all. There is no land space. For example, 822 does not have any land space. How do you do it? All you need to do as an individual, now if you're all the 6 of you try to do it together, then you may need a bigger container. Normally, we take a pot which has got the flower pot I'm talking about, a typical flower pot which is about 18 inches. Keep dumping the waste into that. But before dumping, just have a fine layer of the soil. Just have a fine layer, maybe 1 inch or whatever. And then on top of it, start dumping. And every day or every alternative day, whenever you're dumping it, take a handful of soil, sprinkle over it. Okay? In about a month's time, for a family of maybe about 3 to 4 people, it will take about a month for that 18 inches pot to fill. You will not believe. Because when I throw the garbage, it is so much. In about a week's time, it just becomes so much. What is required? When you're putting it in a pot, it's very important for you to note that it must have hole on the side or at the bottom. It should not be completely sealed. It should have a hole. Now, how does the compost happen? This is bacteria. The bacteria is the one which is working and making it a compost. So for it to compost, you need aeration. So when you have got holes, the air passes through. Or in an open pit like that, there is enough and more space for the aeration. In fact, what I do is once a week, we just go and dig it and recycle the whole thing so that there is enough aeration which happens. That is one. Second, it should not be under direct sunlight because it should not be wet. It has to have a bit of a moisture. If you touch this, you will feel the moisture. It's got to have a bit of moisture because if it is completely dry, bacteria will die. Composting will not happen. So you need to have it a bit moist. So keep it, maybe you keep it on the terrace in the places where you've got no ground at all, no soil at all. Keep it on the terrace, not directly under the sunlight. Keep it under the shade with this aeration. Keep dumping, put that soil, just see how it happens. Now, I can't really show you the pictures, which actually I sent it in WhatsApp. The kind of flowers that I get are this big, and the guavas that I get in my house are this big, this big. In fact, I've taken a picture of those guavas keeping next to my face because if I just show it like this, you will not even know. When I keep it next to my face, you know that it's almost 50% of my face. That big for the guavas.
Ravi, when it rains, what do you do with that?
When?
When it rains,
Huh.
then how it will become wet, right?
It will become wet. So as far as the other buildings are concerned, I would recommend that you close it when it rains. You have a lid on top of it. But as far as possible, keep it under sunshade or something so that it does not get wet because it needs aeration. If you close it on top, there'll be no aeration. It'll continue, it'll decompose. You need to have it composted, not decompose. So that is how you need to do. Whereas what I do is that I just leave it like that because I've got 2 feet pit. It takes care of it itself because Mother Earth just takes away all the water. Yeah, that's how it works. This is mainly for the people who do not have ground space. It is for that.
Yeah, just to add, some people will not have rooms, and some people do not want to use pot because it does not look nice. there a lot of research has been made. There are decorative pots. Okay, there are decorative pots. You don't need to make holes. It will come with all these things. And he was talking about putting some soil. Maybe it is not practical. There are materials like this available. Every time you actually put your daily when you put it, you cover it, and you need to accelerate the bacteria. Simple technique is you can use buttermilk. Buttermilk is a very good accelerator. It will increase the number of bacteria. Then what will happen is, since there is a hole, the water will come out, right? If you are keeping it inside, you will have a small container kept inside. So the water collects. That water, if you mix it with water, water, that liquid that you mix it with water, you can use it for your plants.
Plants, yeah.
And then for smell, you can use neem cakes. Neem cakes, you will get it. You'll just have to put some neem cakes and cover. Every time you put it, you cover it with that. Then you have a lid also. But you should have holes for air circulation. That's how it happens. And it looks so beautiful. Nobody will know that your composting is
Yeah.
happening. The decorated ones, pots are there. They're so beautiful. You can keep it anywhere outside. People will never know that composting is happening on that.
Yeah.
That's the
What is this material in packet?
No, this I'll cover separately. This is for the pits. This is for the sanitary pits. That I'll cover
Can I
separately.
supplement?
Yeah. Sorry?
Can I supplement?
Yeah. Sure. Please.
See, particularly with respect to the segregation of this waste material that we regularly throw it out, the basic part has already come in.
Sir, you need to give your background to them so that they know who they are listening to.
See, I am a retired professor and head of department of agriculture and entomology at Hyderabad.
Super,
wow.
super, yeah.
We have expert here.
So he's the expert. I'm not the one.
Not like that.
Please.
See, the major proportion, as he said rightly, say 70 to 80% is wet waste. So, during the course of segregation, whatever the material that is decomposable, that can be separated out as a wet. That can be converted into a compost. So here, what he said, that is a very good thing. That is only partially decomposed material, which will not be absorbed by the plant right in that form. Again, it needs further decomposition. So for that, we will have to supplement the release of earthworms. So as you know pretty well, probably you must have already read at early stages that earthworm is the friend of the farmer. So now, see, in earlier days, natural soil will be having plenty of the population of the earthworms. We need not supplement at all. But subsequently, after 1940s, we have been dumping lots of insecticides, fungicides, herbicides, and all that. So we are toxicating the soil.
Yeah.
The basic soil that is there on which we are living through plants is getting highly toxic, contaminated. So the earthworms are not surviving, as you pretty well aware. Why you are not facing the problem of snakes, but problem of rats? Because earlier, in earlier years, the rats are being eaten away by snakes. But because of the contamination of the soil with the insecticides and highly toxic material, the snake population has gone down very much. In the absence of an enemy, the prey will multiply. So the rat population is very, very rampant, and you may wonder that, see, farmers are spending huge amounts for the control of rats. They are intelligent animals, and killing the rats is very, very difficult. If you even keep the poison, they will suspect and they will go away. That is the way.
Yeah, they have become smarter.
So smart enough. So for that reason, now what the scientists have done in recent years, how to mitigate. We can't, avoid applying the insecticides because you have to protect the crop. And unless you kill the insects, you can't protect the crop. So application of insecticides, fungicides, and again to remove the weeds, the herbicides, it is indispensable. When that particular situation is indispensable, the alternative is how to produce the compost. That is the base mechanism. And that type of composition takes a longer time. So if we multiply earthworms in the laboratories, not sophisticated laboratories, under a shade, using the dung and the partially decomposed material like this, we can produce compost. It is a vermicompost. Vermicompost they call it. That is the compost produced by worms. Now it is being marketed at the rate of 5 to 6 rupees per kg. And you may wonder to hear from me that the farmers, particularly the horticultural farmers, that means farmers who are growing the fruits and vegetables, they are buying these vermicompost at the cost of 4 to 5 rupees, either 6 rupees as the demand increase, and they are applying. Because why that is so much essential? Because it improves the resistance capacity of the plant to withstand the pests and diseases. When you apply these fertilizers like NPK, that is, all this urea and ammonium sulphosphate and all these things, they will increase the growth of the plant and they also increase the yield of the plant, but they can't increase the resistance capacity to the pests and diseases. So this natural compost will be having so many nutrients, micronutrients, because nowadays the doctors are also prescribing to us the zinc, molybdenum, all those micronutrients in the form of this thing. Like that, plants also need several of these micronutrients. All those micronutrients will be there with the compost. So that way, the plant will acquire a lot of resistance to withstand the pests and diseases. And the food, many of our even the elderly people, they think that now we are eating a food that is being grown with nitrogen, which is nothing but not good source of nutrition. That is a fact, because the vegetables and fruits that we eat today are not that much nutritious for the simple reason that they are not having the required micronutrients.
Yeah.
That's the reason why we are facing the deficiency of micronutrients in our food. Earlier years, nobody used to consume B complex, isn't it? So that way, of course, I do not want to take much time here. Now, as Mr. Ravi has taken a bold step and then taking a lot of pains to educate all of us, and not only educate but practice it. That is more important.
Yeah, exactly. So
Mere education is not important. Practice it in our own house. I tell you my own experience after coming over here, I think last year. So when I saw everybody is dumping this wastage behind the waste vacant plant, then it looked very bad to me. Then I was, but once I saw a truck going on the road, then I thought that why not we make use of that and contact them. Then for about 4 or 5 days, every day I waited on the road to catch hold of that fellow. One day I could catch hold of that fellow. That fellow asked me, "Sir, you pay 20 rupees per month." Okay, no, I will pay. "No, sir, first initially you pay 100 rupees. Okay, I paid 100 rupees on the spot. That fellow disappeared again. So then what is the way out? So I'm also dumping. I don't feel hesitant to commit the mistake that I am committing now. See, my wife also is dumping the same thing because there's no other alternative. So that fellow comes once in a week or 10 days. So what Mr. Ravi said is, now every one of us should practice it
thank you.
and see that we should not dump in our laboratory.
Thank you so much. So just to add, now that you have created this compost, what do you do with that? Where do I find a place to dump the compost because there is no earth around my house? What do I do with that? Very simple. Buy 5 to 6 pots of rose flowers. Okay? Or in some houses I have seen that they have got a roof garden or whatever. If you can't do that, because mainly if you're a tenant and if the house owner objects, then you can't do that. Buy these pots. I'm sure everyone would love that. Keep it under the sun. And every fortnight, apply some of this. Every fortnight. But remember, whenever you're using that, before you apply this to the plant, just dig around the plant so that a bit of an aeration happens. And apply this at least 3 to 4 inches away from the roots. Don't apply it directly on the plant. Just keep it in the corner. Okay, there is enough aeration that happens. Plus, as you water, the nutrients will go into the plant. And just see your flowers blooming. Now, you can also think of, there are some plants, like what example? Brinjal, for example. You can still grow at home. There are so many things that you can also grow at home and use them very effectively. By doing this, I have mentioned that there are multiple benefits. One is that you get lovely flowers. So that reduces your cost, your spend on the flowers by maybe 10 rupees a month. It's still worth it. I'm not saying that you'll save over thousands of rupees. No way. Okay. Whatever you save. Plus, the pride of having a rose from your garden this big, believe me, the pride that I carry is just unimaginable. The plants, the other vegetables that you can grow, lady's finger you can grow. There are so many things. There are so many things that you can actually think of. Go to a nursery and whatever you see that can grow in a pot, you can use. And I will not be surprised that quickly you have more and more pots at home to use it. Okay, so that is a way how you can use this manure for your plants. That is one way of using your wet waste. But if you still think that the quantity is lot, the simplest answer is just find a place where you can plant more and more, maybe in your friend's house or whatever. They'll be more than happy. They'll be more than happy to take this from you. What do you think is a kacha waste or whatever, the rotting waste is actually a manure for your plant. So make sure, just start practicing this, and also we will help, because like I said in the beginning of this session, unless you segregate the waste, they will not accept. If you ask Prasad, there are just two types of waste which goes out of my house. One is the dry waste and the other one is the reject. That's all it goes. I just hang them outside and it goes off. So that is on the waste segregation. And
Have you introduced Prasad to anyone?
no, he has not come.
No,
He's
at
not
least
come.
you can tell who he is.
Okay. Now, as for Prasad is the guy who collects the garbage. Okay, he's the one who operates the van. He comes every Tuesday, every Thursday, and every Saturday. Those are the 3 days he comes and collects. So as I leave everything outside, he comes, he picks up, he puts it in his vehicle, and then puts the bag and the basket back in its place. So that's on Prasad. Now,
Just to add to it,
yeah,
if you're not doing it, it's good that you actually build a rapport with him. So that he knows you're keeping the waste.
yeah.
Typically that's happening because especially on the 11th cross, most of the people don't use it. He just goes really fast. Because people have to just tell him at least, okay, from now on you're going to put the waste, please come and pick it up.
Yeah,
The first time you'll have to build a rapport with him, tell him that this is where you keep the waste, and then do it
I
regularly.
agree, because
Do you mean to say that he's not picking from your house?
Typically he doesn't take it from most of the 11th cross.
Some dustbin should be there.
He comes.
We have small children. Actually, I have a very small kid. I might be feeding or making her to things. Just runs, blows the whistle and he runs away. No, you have to wait between that one.
No, some
and
arrangement
five.
of dustbin should be there.
Normally, they are hanging, the polythenes are hanging on the gate only.
That
So
looks
they are,
very
so he
odd.
picks up from there only, like
No,
got
that looks
bottles
very
and
odd.
separated all everything. So he picks up everything together and dumps it in this bucket.
so we have actually from the association have given him 2 drums,
Okay.
one for the wet waste and one for the dry
Oh,
waste.
he has been given that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But at least if all of us stop giving him the wet waste and start using it for whatever purpose that we were talking about, straight away there is an 80% reduction of waste. And I think over a period of time he'll be more than happy to take only this, because this will become money for him. Yeah, so just one last piece I wanted to cover is, I have now covered from the association side, I have covered only on the waste segregation and waste management. There are more sessions to come, which is like how do we reduce plastic consumption, energy conservation. Like I do all that in my house. Energy, which is your water, anything that we get, this panchabhutas as we call. How do we conserve and use it well? Rainwater harvesting, sanitary pit maintenance. You are asking about this sanitary pit maintenance, and how can we otherwise take care of the social responsibilities. Now these are some of the sessions I'll be covering in future, in days to come. Over to you.
Maybe about the cover. I'll talk.
About this? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so this is actually how I manage my sanitary pit. My house is 6 years old. Okay. Now, we have not cleaned this pit ever. We have actually, I just got the vehicle to get this cleaned because there was something which got stuck in the pathway. Then I realized that there was hardly anything left in the sanitary tank, because though I called the vehicle, it was just hardly 1/3 it got filled. But whatever came out from my pit was like a clean water, because we have got these enzymes which I use. Okay, I use this we apply. We just pour it in the potty and we flush it. As we pour it in the potty and we flush it, all these enzymes, this is a powder which goes into the pit. And after that, for 1 month, we should not use acid. As far as possible, don't use acid or Harpic or anything to clean. We actually have the peels of lemon and sweet lime, which are dried and crushed. We use that because lime has that citric effect, because with the help of which you can clean your bowels. You can clean the toilets. And once this goes into the pit, once this enzymes goes into the pit, it takes about a month for the bacteria. Now the job of this is to eat all the excretes, and the water becomes clean. Water is clean. It can even be used for gardening.
Toilet seats, we try to keep them clean because it becomes yellowish. We put harpic and all this.
Yeah.
This is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because the worms will die. If
That's
supposing
right.
we-
That's right. So I'm
acid,
saying,
we
yeah,
put
if you
acid, the worms
no, all I'm saying is if you release these enzymes into the pit,
Okay.
because what happens is
Into
once,
the potty with seeds.
Yeah.
first, toilet seeds.
yeah, no,
Not
you
seeds,
just
this
put it in
one
the
is
potty,
commode.
commode.
Commode, that toilet
Commode.
seeds, no?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
You just put this is not for cleaning. This is for, let me explain this again. So I just put this powder in the potty and flush it.
Okay.
So once I flush it, it goes to the sanitary pit. It completely goes into the sanitary pit. And in the sanitary pit, you've got these enzymes which gets created because of this powder.
Okay.
The enzymes are nothing but the bacteria. Those bacteria eat all the excretes. Bacteria eat all the excretes, and then the water which has gone to your pit has become like a fresh water.
Okay.
Obviously, you cannot use it for purposes other than gardening. And if you use it for gardening, it's fantastic because it has got urea. As well as that is another form of boosting the plants. So anything on that you want to?
This is actually the microbial decomposition
Yes.
normally takes place in the soil, and there's an exception even for this this piece also. But the degree of decomposition and the natural quantum of actual quantum of fecal matter that is going into the pit, becomes disproportionate. That means depending upon the number of family members in a family and the amount of decomposition, unless it equals, okay, it will be maintained. But once the fecal matter is more and the level of decomposition is less, then very soon the pit will be filled up. Again, we have to call them. So these enzymes will activate the microbial organism, that is bacteria and other fungi and other materials, which are responsible for decomposition. So when once they are activated, they multiply rapidly and the population increases very much, and thereby more quantities of the fecal matter will be decomposed. And once this fecal matter is decomposed, it will come down, as rightly said, that the volume of the material will be come down and goes down. That's why the pit will not be filled.
It will not be overflowing.
So this is weekly, how many times?
No, but I just use it maybe once in 6 months.
Once in 6 months, okay.
One packet.
And another important point is, yes, already said, avoid the cleaning these toilets with acid. as much
Sorry
as
about that.
possible, because the acid will fill all the microbial population in the pit. So better to avoid all that. So how to avoid? Because once we are using the bore water, all these salts present in the bore water will stick to the tiles of the bathroom. So invariably we are tempted, knowingly also we are tempted to get it cleaned with
Correct.
this thing. But rightly pointed out that use these waste lime pieces to rub it.
Rub it.
We need not to depend on somebody else. We cannot see. As a matter of fact, we have to clean our toilet by ourselves only. Better, it's mythologically, I can say, instead of employing our servant maid or something like that, better use our toilet by ourselves, clean our toilet by ourselves. It will be a good practice.
Yeah, yeah. Because no one can clean it better than our own selves.
So I think let's give a big round of applause for Ravi and Sugar.